Agony is a new series of taxidermic animal sculptures. My aim here was to create a metaphoric image as realistic as possible. A metaphoric image which turns upside down the rules of the world in nature. It's about not to accept these given rules and that the stronger defeats the weaker, for example, or the bigger defeats the smaller, the one with power oppresses the powerless. In these sculptures, the supposed victim is the superior. The hunter becomes the hunted. It is about to resist the given rules and the system.
I saw Nasan Tur's works in Berlin a couple of years ago, and I was impressed by the capability of the artist to take a seemingly simple idea and create an artwork that is shocking and thought-provoking, yet humorous at the same time. He is extremely gentle artist that brings up issues for us to ponder upon that touch our personal responsibility and possibilities as actors in our society. I think that through Nasan Tur's works, the viewer becomes aware of his or her own assumptions, opinions and ethics, and what, for example, it means to resist. Where do we find strength to rise up against repressive structures, or where do we get the courage to defend important values? And on the other hand, Tur brings up rather indirectly the possibility that even the most justified resistance can turn into violence. At the moment, there's a lot of tension in our society that we really cannot predict how they are going to unravel. And I think that Nasan Tur's art helps us to think of these issues.
Memory as Resistance is a video work which is based on portraits of journalists who have been killed because of their investigative work. I crumbled up the photos again and again before smoothing them out again and again. This repeating action is something between making something disappear and restoring it again, between forgetting and remembering. It's about remembering as a conscious act, about not forgetting as an act of resistance. For first shot, I asked different people who were interested in firing the first shot of their lives using a real gun and real bullets. Observed with a high-speed camera, each person is seen before, during and after the shot in extreme slow motion. What interests me isn't the shot itself, but rather the conscious psychological change in these people and the potential for violence which is deep inside each of us. The video shows the loss of a kind of innocence which they had before the shot and will never have again. Fragments are references to the missing limbs of classical antique statues. While I was living in Italy, I became very interested in their missing body parts and discovered that their incomplete state resulted from specific social and political circumstances. For example, in times of poverty, desperate citizens stole heads, fingers, hands to sell them in the black market to make a living of it. Or penises had been knocked off when the Catholic Church became more conservative. These missing body parts are contemporary witnesses to economic crisis, social change, and religious fanaticism. Fragments are detailed replicas of parts of my own body. In all their fragility, the difference is that instead of being knocked off statues, they were produced as independent, autonomous sculptures. Once Upon a Time shows 8 different national flags of countries that no longer exist today and have disappeared already from our maps and our school books. There were nations, people killed and died for it, which had their own presidents, their own anthems, symbols, and political systems. Here, the flags of these former nations just hang powerless from the ceiling till the floor, like a monument of the past. But for me, it is also a monument about the future of each existent nation today. All of them has in common that in the future there will be a time when none of them will exist anymore. For the video magic, I was attending a magician school over a period of a year. I was interested in the art of illusion, manipulation of perception, and deliberately psychologically misleading the audience. How do we form an opinion? How are we guided in our perceptions by external influences? Magic addresses precisely the mechanism and their effects. Press photos of demonstrations and military operations disappear in the air. The Israeli flag changes into a Palestinian flag. A dollar suddenly turns into $100. We easily forget it's just an illusion. It's all a question of perspective, and that our public opinion of specific political and social issues is based on the info and the perspective we are provided. The video installation Breaking Records shows different performances in which I try to break existing records without having had any exercises in that category before. By going till my limits, my physical abilities, this absurd actions turns into a seriously taken competitive situation. These inevitable failings of my actions stay in hard contrast to the dominance-oriented society we are facing every day. In the remaining life of Nasan Tur, I was very interested in the idea of building a sculpture with a lifetime similar to my own life expectancy. Based on the statistically estimated time of my death, it counts down the seconds of my life. The life of the sculpture is theoretically connected with my end, but practically it is connected with the end of all of us.